waiting. We are now live.
We are
Good
live.
morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good Sunday morning here on Sage and Bloom.
Yes.
And today we're going to be talking about the art of decision making, trusting yourself in business,
Yeah.
just trusting yourself in general.
Yeah. In general.
So let's start out first with what was your week? What's your week been like?
This week has been a lot of, I'm realizing I have to start journaling more. I haven't been journaling just like really lately, but I know this week was pretty good. I feel like I started a new contract, so that's always a good thing. I'm excited for this contract and the work that we'll do. I get to do a lot more storytelling, and I'm excited to be collaborating more so, um, and almost kind of like directing it a bit more so than having to be the one actually do all the things. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this. And so that started this week. Um, I'm trying to think. I think my week has just been pretty random. My days have been pretty random. And not in a bad way, in a good way for sure. But just busy. And I don't really like that because I couldn't really give you anything more specific. I just am rambling at this point. So I
Yeah,
guess I need to start journaling
yeah.
more.
I mean, that's a way to really capture like what you've been going through and the impact that it's made on you,
Hmm.
or just kind of looking at your accomplishments. And yeah, journaling helps to do those things. Absolutely.
Yeah, I need to because I've been writing more, but it's just been like task and work or jotting down things. And so I have not necessarily been processing my days more intentionally so that's something that well, you just made me realize that with the morning question. So how's your week been?
Oh, this week was, girl, it was so amazing.
I love that.
I had such an amazing week. It was just, it's like when it finally happens, you know what I mean? When
Mm.
I finally found the the just the way for me. And
Mm.
like, and I'm seeing the fruit of all of the labor, you know what I mean?
Mm.
All of the time, effort, energy,
We love a good moment like that.
commitment,
Yes.
uh, just all of the parts finally
Coming together.
coming together. So I had my first gallery opening at
Yes,
30
that was Friday.
on Friday, right?
How was
And
that? I missed it.
it was amazing because it was perfect for me.
Mm.
I didn't have to do shit. Like, I've always been the one doing all the parts. I just had this one little part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it wasn't a little part. It was a big part. Because if it wasn't for me, it wouldn't have happened. And at the end of the day, at the end of the whole thing, one of the artists, girl, he came up to me in front of my business partners and he was talking directly to me.
Hmm.
Like, he's like, Vanessa, I don't know what you did tonight, but I've never been to a gallery show like this ever. And
I
I've been doing
love
art
it.
for a long time. And he's like, this is the first time I've been to it, that I've been a part of a show with so many people from all over.
I love this.
It wasn't just West Side folks. There were West Side people. There were people walking down the street that they were like, what's going on? I'm like, oh,
yeah,
we're having a gallery show. And they're like, I was like, go look, go. You could go in, go ahead. And they're like, I could go in. And I was like, yes, you could go in. Absolutely. Go in, check it out. And girl, there are people from off the street. And you could tell they were from off the street, right? Going in there. And they were just like, whoa.
yeah.
And they were like, whoa, what the fuck is this shit? It's crazy. It was so great.
I love that. I love
so great.
That. Congratulations.
Thank you. So like just everything that, you know, all of the work that I did all week too, just, writing grants, meeting with people, I got this ribbon cutting tomorrow that I'm emceeing where the mayor is going to be at. I'm
I love that.
The mayor and the friggin' congressman, and it's like like all of the parts. It's just like boom, it just hit me all the time. All the other parts, like, girl, so great. So yesterday I just chilled out. I made some chili,
Oh, that's so funny. I had chili yesterday.
Yeah.
I went to one of my friends' house. I love that.
And just ate chili and watched TV and fell asleep, and got up and watched some. It was great. It was cool. It was such a great week. So yeah, girl, I'm feeling really good. I'm definitely on 10 right now.
Listen, give me all of that. I need all of that.
No, don't get me wrong. It's like now afterwards, yesterday I couldn't even. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And I knew it.
Good exhaustion.
Yeah, I knew I wouldn't be able to do anything. Like I knew it. I was like, Vanessa, you better not do nothing on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Just be in the house. And that's what I did. I went to the store, got some food, came home, cooked. So yeah, like I really appreciate the knowing, and the trusting. This is why this aligns with what we're talking about today, because I had to like truly just stop and say to myself, look, girl, look at all the stuff that you've done, that you've created, the relationships that culminated in that day, in that show, in the fact that my people showed up. And even the people that didn't show up, I know they wanted to be there. I got messages from people that were like, oh, I wanted to come so bad, but something came up. But to me, it's like, I get that. Like, I totally understand. And there'll be plenty of other times. It's like, this is the first of many. You know what I mean? So it just felt really good, to, see what it looks like when I do trust myself, when I do, make decisions that are good decisions, right? Because they're rooted in who I am and as a person, my whole being, right? So I could see it, so that it was a good week.
I love this. And I love this topic as a result of it, because I need all of this. Listen, I'm taking it all in. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's so important to like I created a routine in the morning or for the week. So like I had to realize that I'm very impulsive. I'm a very impulsive person, but I got to really keep that in. I have to keep that in check, because I'm that person. It'll be like, let's go. You know what I mean? Let's go. Let's go. You know what I mean? And just in the moment, I'll be like, boom, and although I still do that, now I'm like, okay, hold on a minute. Like, wait, hold on. So that part, that pause, the waiting part, it's such an important part now in how I move and how I make decisions, like, and how I like still trust that part, right? That impulsiveness, because I think that's intuition in a way. You know, it's part of the way that I kind of check a vibe. If I'm feeling like that with somebody, that's somebody that I definitely want to connect with, right? I don't necessarily have to do it right now, though. You know what I mean? I could take a day or two to kind of like chew on it a little. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the part. That's the adult part. That's the like. Hold on a minute. You know, like look at all the other stuff you got going on too.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to just say yes to just the feeling, right? Like you want to, or intuition or whatever you want to call it. But now it's like, now I'm pausing and, you know, taking into account the impact that I have, the people that I have in my life, the things that I already have going on, the projects that I have going on, you know, the people that count on me, my
Mm-hmm.
word,
Mm-hmm.
you know, integrity, like accountability, all of those things come into account now when I'm making a decision. So I guess that's where the trust comes in, you know, like because now I've created this practice and how I make decisions, you know, it's like I trust that those decisions are gonna work. Like so, like even with my partnership with John and Jasmine, like this took 4 years for us to get here.
Mm.
This was an overnight thing, you know. This 4 years of us meeting weekly,
Mm.
you know, like going to his house and hanging out with his family and hanging out with Jasmine and her family, like getting to know people and you know what I mean, like that type of um like really building with people. You know what I mean? It wasn't. I mean, it was.
It took some nurturing.
It took a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So this is what it looks like when you're committed to something. You know, when you take the time. So it made me feel good because I think in the back of my mind, in that old way of who I am, that old Vanessa, you know, I have it like, oh, you know, I'm not consistent or I'm not committed, you know what I mean? But only things like this that happened this Friday when we had our show, that shows commitment.
Mm-hmm.
That's the outcome of what commitment looks like. That's the outcome of consistency. That's the outcome of discipline. You know, like that's what it looks like. So that's what made me feel like, damn, I was like, you've been putting in the work.
Mm-hmm.
You've been putting it in. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what I mean? We have people on the street rolling up, like driving by, because we're on North Avenue, right? So at 5, it was perfect timing because we got Friday traffic on North Avenue, and all these cars going west. So people are like rolling by, they're like, whoa.
What is that?
You know, and they got their windows rolled down, and this dude was like, y'all got an art gallery here?
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, yeah. And he was like, wow. This lady pulled over because she lives around the block. She went home, dropped her car off, and came back and walked over. You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. That's what it looks like when someone is committed. My commitment to this project, right? So, yeah, girl, that's what I'm saying. It's like we have to create these practices. You know, beat up on ourselves, right? Because, like, look, while all of this is going on, there were all these other things that I had to put on hold. You know what I mean? I had to prioritize. I had to, okay, well, this is what's going on this week. I got to put all of this on hold so I can take care of these things, right? But trust in myself that I'm making
the right
choices and moving all of these things forward. I even had this, you know, this journalist that I'm collaborating with. He came up to me and he was like, "So what's going on?" And I'm just like, "You see what's going on. You standing in it. You standing in it. You know what I mean?" I was like, "Look, like everything that I am is present, right? So what we got going on is still a priority.
Mm-hmm.
However, I got all these other things that I'm also working on. You know what I mean?" So It's there. It's still happening. But I got
Time.
in time. So, I had to, so that felt good too, to be able to be confident in the choices that I'm making and be able to articulate that to other people and not, it's just the way it is, bro,
Yeah.
So yeah, girl, it was great. But this conversation, I think the one thing that I wanted to ask you about, because this has been I guess it's been a challenge for me. It's been a very, very much a challenge in trusting my intuition. And I see, like, just, I have evidence, definite evidence I have when I didn't do that, and the impact that made on different relationships. Not to say that they were bad, but maybe I didn't need to be so deep with certain situations and people, Have you noticed? I mean, how do you feel about or how do you see intuition being in play in your decision making?
Well, I see where in some recent decisions, I mean like this new year, I can see where I've repeated some of the same things in terms of just like ignoring my intuition. So knowing, like having an initial feeling, but then not really going with it, and I can see where over time, when I gone back and looked at it, I'm like, yeah, it was always there. You know what I'm saying? So I can see where me ignoring my intuition is showing up today. And so I'm in a real interesting space of, oh, I can't wait for the next opportunity to make a better decision. And also I still have to live out the consequences of the previous decisions. You gotta do your time. And so it's more so just navigating once you realize, like, okay, I can see where I went wrong here. But this is the reality. And so we're going to navigate this the best way we can, but also keeping in mind, I'm just going to make better decisions moving forward, when given the opportunity to. But I can tell that I can see where I've not followed it. Right. And I can see where I have, and it's put me in places where I'm like, yeah, see, I just got to keep doing it. I just got to keep doing it. I got to be more consistent with it. I realized that my filter is I'm really just a feeling person. I didn't even realize it was like that. So it's like I can see it, but then just really relate so deeply that I can see past it because I can see other things. And I'm like, okay, that's not wise at this particular stage in my life. So, the rewiring.
Yeah, I hear you. But that's great. That's great that you're seeing, like, in real time, like how you had these there's a word I was looking for, but that's okay. But yeah, it's really great how you are, just paying attention to what you've been, the choices that you've been making, and with your intuition, and how that's gotten you in all these different, like, relationships, and how some of them worked, some of them didn't, according to, like, how, if you ignored your intuition or not, right? And I think that's such a great practice of, like, noticing, like, as in real time. And I really like what you said, like, you're excited to make that, to be in that space again, to make that, to be in your intuition and to be like, ooh, there it is, like, that's dope. Because, like, I think a lot of people, when you're noticing and paying attention to the things that come up, it does make it fun, like it becomes a game. I know we talked about that last week, Comes a game, and it's like, ooh, there's that thing again. Like, so I
Like,
really like that.
come to me this time.
Right.
I'm on my P's and Q's this time. I'm on it,
Yes.
But it's just also too just knowing, like, because I think too is just my idea of people, and I feel like there's a way for us to relate or get along one way or the other. Like, everybody is valuable, but I think that when we ignore our intuition, when it's like, okay, you can be in relationship this way, you don't need to go deeper. Like, y'all, you don't need to be spending this kind of thing. You don't need to be talking about these things. Like, I think for me, that's where it is, like that discernment, like, okay, placing people exactly where they need to be.
Yeah, that's really great.
So that we're not out here, or at least for me, like tarnishing relationships because I went too far in the relationship. I may be expected too much or whatever, I just ignore my intuition. But it's just, placing people where they can thrive at in your life. And so, and not putting anything else on them outside of that, and just getting better at that. As a leader, I'm finding that this is something that just has to happen in business, and it has to, if you want to grow teams, everybody is valuable and everybody is flawed. Yeah. So you want to know both, and then where do you place them so that they can thrive, and so it's the same way, I think, personally and professionally, I'm learning.
I think that's such a great point, right? Because especially when we're in community, right? Like, and when we're in community, especially Black community, I think it's such an important part of like building capacity, even, right? Because I think what you're talking about is like really building capacity, because you're really, what I'm hearing is like you're really focused on what you are working on, and like you really don't have the time nor the energy or want to put that on other folks, right? Like just solely focusing on what you got going on, and to have people really play a role, the best role that they play in your life, right? And so that does mean that like they have their lane, right? They work well in this space, right? And what I'm hearing is you building capacity, because now you have relationship with people that maybe you probably wouldn't have had a relationship with them at all.
Yeah.
Because you were constantly coming up to like this confronting hard.
Yeah.
Like, who wants to deal with that?
Nobody wants
to deal with that. And that's how I was in my past. Like, I would just cut people off, right?
But,
but now what I'm doing is I've built capacity.
Yeah.
I have relationships with people that I probably wouldn't have a relationship with before, because that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
I put them in a very important part of my life. And that's right. That's really it, and I have to say, it's like the relationships thrive there. They're so great. Like, I can call these people and they answer their phone. Like, they answer it, boom. And I'm literally on the phone for like 2 or 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Some people I'm on the phone with for like hours. But that person, you know what I mean? That I'm like, okay, I really want a relationship with these people because they're in the community. They're in the work that I'm doing. Important part of that work. And I want to have a relationship with them because we're in community, right? So how do I like work with those people, right? And I figured it out. Like, I found a way to work with it. And it's so powerful, right? So freaking powerful. So freaking powerful. Like, I had this conversation with, and not everybody can do this. Let's be clear.
Because it's work. It tests a lot in you.
Yes, because the work that it's really about, this is the fruit of our inner work. You know what I mean? This is what happens when the work on you. We're really building capacity. capacity
Mm-hmm.
to expand in any direction. We can expand in any direction because I don't take a lot of shit personal anymore. Like literally, do
That's
not
it.
take it personal.
That's it.
I don't like people when they get angry, girl, like in my face, they don't really ever really get angry because my energy doesn't allow it. It's just like I don't like I'm just like I listen, right? And I hear them and they know, girl, look, it's so dope. Like that's such a dope, so dope.
Listen, I'm just like, look, I just whatever I got to do for this,
Yeah.
for
Well, see,
the
that's
work,
what I mean.
for myself, for my community, for these kids, you know, whatever
Yeah.
it takes. Like, I'm willing to do that.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
that's
I'm
what I
willing
mean.
to do it.
That's what it looks like. Your commitment to your work, the work that you're creating, your commitment to that work is everything, right? Your purpose, however, whatever it is for you, right? And so, yeah, man, it's like it goes hand in hand, right? It's like those are the two things. That's what happens if that you're truly authentically committed to it, you know. And so, yeah, I just man, that ain't nothing but a thing. And so, like and you'll see the beautiful part about it is like I heard it in conversation I had this past week, you know, because I now see the the respect that people have for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, because of the fact that I do have this ability, right? The skill that I've built over a long time, right? Like being with everybody. I could be with anybody, right? Like and be authentic, like be authentically myself. And girl, it's just woo. Wow. I just had to take a moment. Excuse me.
And I gotta let you have it because I feel that. That's good.
Like,
I can feel your energy.
I'm
That's really crazy how I can feel your energy right now. That's good.
moved, like completely moved by how okay, so this is something else that I noticed this week too, imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And how like doubting myself internally, I can still hear it, right? Like in moments, you know, really truly doubting myself. And how much that comes up in between all of this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But seeing like having to ground myself whenever that shows up too, like I notice that I'm tired, like I need rest, you know, like whenever I get like really like doubtful or you know, just be in a space where I'm like I don't know what's there, you know, a lot of the time I just need to take a nap, you know. So yeah, I just all of these practices. I feel like I'm rambling right now.
No, that was really good. I started when you brought up imposter syndrome, it made me go to my notes because literally yesterday, that's what I was kind of like taking some notes on. I guess I have been journaling. So let me go back and say, because I guess I have, but I guess it's been in between. What I need to do is separate it from work though, because it's been in between like my actual work journal. But I was talking about imposter syndrome because I was thinking about this concept of like divine delay, right? So like, but the mental process of it. So the slow burn process of aligning your identity with your impact. So your conscious your identity with what you have already been doing, like that subconscious, like that your subconscious you, like your actual impact or whatever. And so as I was realizing, because I'm like, the imposter syndrome, I think, happens because it's like I don't know, for myself, I was looking over just my life a bit, and I'm like, wow, I've always had like access, to things. I've always had relationships, and I've
Mm.
always like had proof in my work of concept over years, and I've always had credibility, and and these, like, I've always had these things, but and so it's like, how subconsciously I think we always worry about the things that may keep us stuck, or the bad things. What I realized yesterday is that also what's working for us subconsciously are those other opposite things that are like when you are walking in your, like when you just like turn up, I don't know, go into business mode, you black out and you go into business mode and close the deal, you don't even know how you did it because it's just something subconsciously in you, like working, right? And you just aren't, it hasn't been brought to your consciousness either, so you don't even. And for this, it's like you don't want it to be brought to your consciousness to change it, but you want to be aware of it, so when you do it, you recognize it, and so the imposter syndrome doesn't happen, because consciously and subconsciously you're connected, and how you move is what I was kind of coming up with yesterday, to your point. So it's just like, man, like doing that work sometimes, it reminded me just to stop rambling and landing the plane. It just reminded me in the work that we do that, yes, it's important to, do the work to rewire those habits, those bad habits, or whatever the case, those beliefs that keep you stuck. But it's also important that when you're doing that work, that you don't forget the goodness, that you go back and you grab that too, and you bring it back to your consciousness, your awareness, so that you can actually accept it and be that thing on purpose. And and so when you're in those spaces, you don't feel like, how did I get here? Like, you understand, like, your habits got you here. Like, you understand, you've always believed it, so it makes sense that you're here.
Right.
So it's like just remembering in our work to go back and grab the good stuff too, because it still exists, like, and that's the other part of the work. And I think if we got to find balance in it, because one part of it, getting the bad stuff, helps us kind of like get unstuck, get our lessons, but the good stuff is what we need to really to walk in our purpose and do our work, and to know that it's our work, and to be able, and that we're the chosen one for it. We got to know that it was always in us to do this work too.
Yeah, that's powerful. You're absolutely yes to all of that. Like, really, like, really, I mean, like yeah. I think it's, especially when I spent a good part of my life, and I think for a lot of people, we don't really see like what we do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? For me, there are a lot of blind spots for a long time. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really see my impact like fully. I would see it here and there, but I think now now I see it because of all of this work that I've done. It's important for me to stay like in the space of being grateful. Like in that space, it's so important for me, because I do see that is a huge shift that I made. You know what I'm saying? Like dang, like like dang, like this is something that is like it's like magical. You know what I mean? It's like it is like magical because.
Yes, I'm happy you said that word. You can finish, but I remember what happened for me this week, and I like exactly what you're explaining. Okay, yes.
Yeah, but it stems from really truly seeing myself as someone who really makes a difference, right? Like I really make a difference. My energy makes a difference. My just my being makes a difference, right? When I walk into a room, I shine a light in the room. You know what I mean? Like, people are interested in what I'm up to. You know, like when I opened up my Constant Contact, they sent me the results of the email that I sent out, and it was like 48% of people opened the email. And I have almost 2,000 people on that list. So that's like 1,000 people, 800, 900 people open that email. You know what I mean? And I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just that, like, and just truly being like grateful for it, right? Like,
yeah.
Like being able to have the space in the room to be myself authentically all the time. Like I have to remind myself, like, Vanessa, that's like a serious blessing. Like, people aren't, you know, like, for years I didn't, you know, I wasn't even paying attention, just like most people, you know what I'm saying? So now to see it, I'm like, shit, you know, I'm like, okay, God, let's go. Like, I'm ready. You know what I mean? Done all the work. I've done work, and this is not like an end to the work, right? The work is still, you know, the journey still continues. You know, different levels of consciousness come about. You know what I'm saying? So I know there's still, you know, space for me to move into, right, and continue to evolve and all of that, which is exciting and fun, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited to, like, even here, even this interaction, and I'm excited about growing Sage and Bloom, right? And because I'm hearing just in this conversation, like, impacting a whole new. I mean, I know what I feel, and I know what I get out of these conversations and how impactful they are for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know that that's the same for you. And it's like, okay, we know what we got here. Let's expand it, right? And bring people in and do these live sessions and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm just that's the fun. That's the real fun, and continuing to build out all of these parts that I know what alignment looks like.
Yeah.
You know, I know what it looks like. I know what it feels like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like this morning when you were late, you know, I didn't even question it. I just got all my stuff together, and, you know, and then when you texted me, I was like, I knew you were going to text me. It wasn't like, but my former self, you know, probably would have second guessed it, but I didn't need to, you know what I'm saying? Because I know your spirit. I know who you are. I know what alignment looks like now with people that I love, and I know that love me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't.
And your time and all of those things.
Yeah, it's just like being in this like really awesome flow, you know, like of just knowing.
Yeah.
And I think it goes right back to trust in this conversation, right?
Yeah. I love this because when you said magic, that really, it made me remember this week. And I'm like, dang, how did I forget that? Because that was such
a now I can hear this. Tell me.
Yeah, I'm like, how did I forget that? So, you know, my Story Scouts, we go into the high school every Wednesday, and we go into the lunch periods. And so really just I'm exploring like that unstructured time, and how do we really leverage and take advantage of that space and that time. You know, lunch periods, recess, things like that's where a lot of fights happen, a lot of whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But also it's really good opportunities to really see, you know, young people's personality and who they are and what they would rather be doing, you know, in that time. But so now my Story Scouts are in the high school, and it's amazing. It's been amazing watching them integrate. But this past Wednesday was like 90s day, because it was Spirit Week for the kids, the high schoolers. And so they had like 90s karaoke during all the lunch periods. And so it was just like I had a couple of moments on Wednesday when I was watching my story scouts, like this concept that was just came from my head. And I'm watching them like engage with the staff, grow relationships with the staff, like the kids having fun, participating in karaoke. Like I'm watching them too, because two of them started out so shy and I was a little nervous. I'm like, we're gonna see, but just watching them slowly but surely like trust me and come out their shells. And I was just sitting there like, this whole thing is really working. Like it's really like this is really happening. It was a surreal moment for me. And I think I like took some behind the scenes and I kind of sent it out to my donors, so people who donated to my last fundraiser, just to show them like, like this is the work. Like my kids from the college, they are education majors, social work majors. So yeah, we'll be capturing stories and creating stories and telling stories, and that's a huge thing. But also like they get this real-time diverse experience as these college students that I know that you don't get otherwise, not for real, like this. And it's just like, this is where y'all money is going. And to see their responses and like how they're like, man, please keep these texts going, coming, like keep the updates coming. I got a couple of meetings lined up as a result of it as well. Just another more touch base conversations. And so I think that moment also showed me like, oh, I can do this. Like I really, can do this. And that, and in the story scouts, like now they're doing social media takeovers for the social media accounts. So that's not something I got to worry about. This is something that they wanted to take ownership over, like they suggested. And so Wednesday was one of those things where it's like, I think I started to really see the weight of the work. Not necessarily that it's heavy, but it's like, no, it's time now. Like you're in the game right now.
Yeah,
it's right now. And then it's just like, man, you can do anything. Like you really dreamt of this. You made this up.
yeah.
and somebody trusted you. So clearly you know how to pitch, right? And you have a higher ed institution backing you, and then another high school backing you. You've created a pipeline. You literally have created a training that has prepared college kids to go into a high school. And now you're watching it happen. And it's just crazy to think that, not crazy, but it's just to your point, like, it just made me think that I can do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I could literally not even think, like, no, like that moment just sitting down watching it, I'm like, I know I can do anything, because like what?
Exactly. That's your impact. That's the impact that you have on people. When you're aligned, that's what it looks like. That magic that happens, and people they see it in themselves. I mean, they see themselves as being like, you're a mirror. And they get to be themselves, because you're being yourself. You know what I'm saying? And so like, I think that impact is powerful. That's how we change minds, right? Like this, like that, like, and now more than ever, it's such an important part of this conversation is when we are able to trust ourselves and see ourselves and believe ourselves and all of those things, right? Then other people get they get the access to do that for themselves. So it's imperative, that we expand this conversation outside of just us, having this conversation, right? Because of the impact that we see and we make. You know what I mean? It's like, wait,
it's a blessing for sure.
We get to do it on this level, right? But now we get to do it now. What about the other people that we know? The other relationships that we're in, the other conversations that we have all the time with all these people, right? Now we could take it outside of just us. You know what I mean? I went to this thing this past week, and I noticed, like, I was in conversation with this. She's a coach and a spiritual person, and really dope. Mm-hmm. And she does like Reiki and all this other like kind of energy work. And we're just having a conversation, and she went real deep, right? And then apologized, right? She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I went really deep," And I'm just like, I appreciate that. Thank you. Like, that's where I live, girl. I don't live up in the shallow end. Mm-hmm. I don't do that, so I'm cool. But like, people started coming in the room, and they came to like, people were very interested in our conversation, that it attracted 2 or 3 more people, and it was really interesting. The people were just standing there and listening. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was listening. And so, like, I'm just like, you know what I mean? I see it now. Mm-hmm. I see the impact that I have on people, you know what I'm saying? In one-on-one conversations, in larger rooms. And now we're doing this, now we worldwide. And we're on a platform that ain't, this is a global platform that we're on. So let's take advantage of this global platform, right? And really build this out, so it's not just us having this conversation anymore. And I think that, one of my friends, she said, you're doing a disservice by not like being in the spaces that you can be in. You know what I mean? It's like, and I was like, yeah, she's absolutely right. And I think that I kind of purposefully, I noticed this thing, that imposter syndrome thing show up. Like, I find myself sometimes distracted, and I'm starting to notice, like, it's a purposeful, like, distraction, right? Like, I'm purposefully distracting myself. And I said, I can't do it. I mean, where I am in my life right now, I just like, Vanessa, you got to stop that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you do.
You got to stop.
You do. For me, I think that I've just been a little privileged. I is the word I've been using a bit. I was just with one of my homegirls yesterday. That's how I ended up being late today. But we were just talking about it. And I'm like, I think my issue has been that I've always had access. And I've always, if I look at the caliber of relationships that I have, like, I've always been connected to very well, like, people, who do stuff, but I've just never cared, because I've always cared more about, like, connection. So part of it is me not even knowing, like, from a professional standpoint, who I'm connected to, because I just care about their person,
Right.
But then the other thing is being in spaces and always having access, and just proof of that. Like, literally, I was thinking about this yesterday. Like, wow, I've really always had access, and I would be in these spaces and just not take advantage of it, like, take it for granted, or because I knew I could just be in those spaces. And as I look, and it's really taking a lot for me not to beat myself up about it, because it's like, girl, you've always been exactly where you needed to be to do what you're doing now. You just not. And I don't know. I think it's just, everything is about timing, and like, when it's time, you'll see what you're supposed to see next,
right?
Kind of thing. And I know that, but the other part of me is like, but girl, come on now. And then it just was proven, and it's always proven. It's just whenever anybody will call me and just be like, hey, you need to be here, and I'm like, okay, I'll come. And then I come and I'm like, oh, I hate it here, because I've already made up my mindset about maybe the people who will be in the space, or I'm not about to be no groupie anyway. So I'm not going to do these things. And so just not really taking advantage of the spaces. So case in point, me knowing this, God is so funny. After I come to this conclusion in my notes yesterday morning, my homeboy hits me. He's like, what you doing today? And I'm like, oh, nothing, chilling. I'm gonna go meet with one of my homegirls later this evening. But he was like, all right, you need to pull up to here with me. It was a brunch for the mayor yesterday at a space. And so just going and pulling up and knowing so many people in the space, like just being there and seeing like, like the whole thing. And it's like, this has always been my life and I've just not taken advantage of it. And I think that's how the win, like the moments like Wednesdays kind of started to get overshadowed a bit by these feelings. Cause it's like, right, because Wednesday can always happen. You can do this again and again and again after that. Like you've always been in a position to do it, like period. And people have always seen it in you and have always told you, you just ain't been listening. So, I'm doing a better job of like listening to what people are saying to me. Right. And not like brushing it off like, oh, just receiving what I'm hearing so that I can just continue now doing, being more aware of the work that I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's, yeah.
I'm like, cause girl, not you been dropping the ball because you just ain't care for it. You know what I'm thinking about so many things. I'm like, I grew up with brothers who had things, and one of my brothers just has a car fetish. Like, so just cars things don't really impress me. And so, but it's like, but unfortunately, like that's the language of the world almost. And so it's like, you kind of got to speak, you got to be bilingual. You got to be fluent in the world's language as well, even if that's not something that you prioritize or value, to get to where it is you're trying to go. Like you got to meet in the middle somewhere. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope that you are seeing that you've always could have made an impact in areas of your life because those things were there, right? At the same time, you said it's about timing, right? And I think that's an important part, right? Like, it's an important part of like, I think it's always been there for everybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you gotta go through life. It's the journey. Yeah. It's
that journey of remembering.
Yeah. You gotta remember it's the journey of just coming back to self, right? And
I'm so happy you just said that because that really is the journey. Yeah, I'm so happy you said, I'm so happy this just came up. Like, yes.
It's all about, I remember like when I was a kid, girl, I was so free. I was so free when I was a kid, man. I was like, those times, like I didn't get upset about things, right? And if I did, it was so quick. Like things just, things just came back together and we worked it out and all of that. It's when I got older, when I got hurt, people I started to see things and, and how people are and manipulation and me manipulating and all the rest of the things, you know what I'm saying? Like, but now it's like, I'm just like, I'm right back to being free again. You know what I mean? I feel like, just the freedom that I have and that I'm able to like be myself all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's such a blessing, to be like, for instance, like, I notice myself go back to kind of old ways of doing things all the time, right? I could catch myself. Most of the time I catch myself when I'm in the middle of it, but sometimes I ride that shit out. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it. I'm gonna ride this little thing. I'm gonna ride this bitch out,
Period.
And because I'm petty too. I could be petty. Why not? I'll be petty. Why not fucking be petty, And it's so like I'll go there in certain situations. I don't think I go there the way that I used to go there. But now, it's like
I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, but that's real. That's real. You know what I mean? But see, the other part that's
I'm beautiful. Like, okay, I want to ride this one out. I'll do better next time.
Right. Yes. And I can also go back and say, you know what? I was being petty.
Mm-hmm. I'll
I can
be hold myself accountable.
I can say, you know what, that was real petty of me. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. You know, and I know how to clean up my shit too. That's the other part. Like I know how to say, yeah, I was doing that, and I did.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And let me tell you, like the looks on the faces. You know what I mean? Like there's this woman that I really like. I don't like her. You know what I mean? I just don't like her, and I just, you know, for whatever reason.
Mhm.
And I was talking about her. You know what I'm saying? And and I guess I don't know what she came up to me. She said something to me, and I was just like, you know, I had to clean it up. And I told her, I was like, you know what, I've gossiped about you, you know, and I told her in her face, you know what I'm saying, and girl, you should have seen her face. She was like, what? And I was like, well, I'm gonna be real with it, you know what I'm saying, and I did do that, you know, and you know that it is what it is, and I realized I did it, and you know, I'm just holding myself accountable for, you know, what I said. And you know, and she didn't know what to, she, you know, she was just like, whoa, you know, I can't believe this lady said this to me, you know. But it's real that I when I realized that I could do that, and it has really nothing to do with the other person, it has everything to do with me.
Mhm.
And I had to like hold myself accountable for what
Mhm.
I do in the world. And you know,
I love that.
and I think that is such an important part of integrity. Is like I'm honoring my word by cleaning up my shit, because at the end of the day, I got to live with this,
Mhm.
with the word that I am and that I say that I am. You know, and boy, and you know, like, and I think that, you know, that goes right back to trusting and being in community and putting people in their place and where they are. Like, I can't expect this woman to be this person in my life, you know, when I know that's me being phony. If I'm trying to put somebody in my life in a space where I don't want them really in, you
Mhm.
know, because there's the alignment isn't there. Not
Yeah.
he's a bad person. It's not about being bad. This is about being aligned. Why would
Yeah.
I do that to her? That's me being a liar.
Mm.
Make something be something that it is not. So I'm well, okay. But I think that goes right back to what we were talking about originally. It's like you got people got to be, if you're gonna really be in community, really, truly, authentically be.
Yeah.
Not everybody gonna like you, and you're not gonna like everybody. That's
Yeah.
you're not going to be aligned with everybody and how they're doing what they're doing, and they're not going to be aligned with how you do it and what you're up to.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's what community looks like. Right?
Mhm.
We need all of those different structures and community, right? That's, I mean, that's that. You know, it's like, I like, yeah, girl.
Yeah. And I think too, we got to get past like the like dislike thing, and it got to be
Yeah,
what is the value and how do we still exchange value in this community?
yeah,
You know, if even if it's I don't like so and so, but let me send my nieces and nephews or kids down to so and so, so you can because this is what you supply to the community. I think that in between us like being aligned and not aligned and liking each other and not liking each other, we got to make sure that we're creating and we're producing and that we're participating you know, in the community, so that that's not the only thing we focus on, you know. And I think a lot of the times in you know, we can get caught on that because that's the only thing that's really happening out, you know. So it's like, yeah, we got to make sure we're producing and still figuring out how to be regardless, you
right.
because the
Yeah,
silos don't really work for us. And
yeah,
we can't keep operating that way. And so we got to figure it out. And to your point, like the trust is, you know, long time been fractured in our community. And so, but we got to start to work to build towards that, which means that it's not going to exist a whole, a whole lot of it in the beginning. But how do we still coexist? We still got to bring our gifts forward. And as long as we're, leading with our gifts and what we can contribute, then I think the other stuff starts to figure itself out. But,
Mhm.
too
Yep.
many people in our community don't know their gift and what they can contribute. And so they don't anything positive, at least. So it's like we gotta work towards that.
Yeah. I think that's where we come in, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's where we come in. I think that's the model that we have.
Yeah.
I don't think people know what it looks like. Like I don't think I don't think we've seen a whole lot of what that looks like.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
true.
marketing.
At scale.
Yeah. It's just like we need this is why it's important for us to expand our capacity to have a larger impact, right? Because on a small scale we see what we could do. On a
Yeah.
block, community, side of town scale or neighborhood, we can see what we do, right? But now it's like, well, shit, if I can do that at this scale, I don't know
Like, yeah.
at a larger scale, right? Because I think that, people need to see us. Like I feel this pulling. I would
Yeah.
feel pulling. The first time I did like a podcast or any type of this type of deep conversation where I'm on a platform, like the first time I did it like 15 years ago, I was like, oh, fuck it. This is it. This is it. This is what I'm talking about because like, I love sharing. I love listening, being with people ever since I was a kid. Like we'd be in the street, girl. I was 8, 9, 10 playing until the lights came on, or past that, like we would be in the street until 10, 11 o'clock at night, you know what I mean? Playing in the street with my friends, So I want to continue to do that. Like I want to play
Yeah.
with friends, but in this vein, right? Like
Yeah.
to really expand ourselves, to show people that you can do it. There, you do have the capacity. It does come with some work. There's some work that's involved, but let me tell you,
It's worth it.
it's worth the work.
It's worth it.
It's worth it. It's like as I look at my life, right? I'm just like, dang, like man. And I'm not. I mean, I got so much more. I got so many things to. I got so many things to. Um, to really, yeah. I have so many things more to do, you know what I mean? And so like that's this is the level of the game level playing, is now just like bigger, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
so but that's why I'm just like now I'm excited. It's like, oh shit, now I'm in a whole different space that I know I've always known that I'm ready this is part of it, like
Yeah.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love this. I'm
Yes.
excited for this. So we're at 1 hour and 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and our takeaway. Let's do a takeaway as we start
Yes.
to wrap this up. So what was one of your takeaways from today's conversation?
I think it's, like, I think you said it. It's like this remembering.
You just took mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's the remembering part, like just, like this inner knowing that I already know about myself, you know what I'm saying? And it's always been there. And it's just this practice of getting back to that inner knowing, and just remembering that this is my, like, I'm creating this. This is my life. This is the way it's always, it's always been like this. I've always had access to these people. I've always had these things. And it's just this, like just getting rid of all of that stuff out of the way, so I could truly see that. that light that I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to echo everything that you said because that's exactly it. It was really remembering that this is the journey, just coming back to ourselves. And I'm very happy that I remembered it because I told you, like, it's really easy to beat up on yourself because it makes you feel like, well, how didn't you always know that? Like, it was always there. Like, what were you thinking? Like, how could you miss those kind of things? And so that was my work a lot yesterday. And then today just brought me a lot of clarity in our conversation, just remembering that this whole journey is just coming back to ourselves. So just remembering in general, right? And so there was this other question that I kind of asked myself yesterday. So it's like, because I'm like, I can't keep beating myself up about this, right? I need to move forward. Now that I do see what I see, the question is, now that I do realize it, how will I steward it differently? So now that I know what I know, how do I just move on and be different, and do it differently, and better, or just differently, because
Yeah.
better was what it was, then.
Right.
So now how do you do it differently? And so that's that. So yeah, giving yourself grace on your journey, allowing yourself to uncover the things that's always been right in front of your face, not being afraid of feeling stupid.
Right.
What may happen. Speaking for myself, but not being afraid to face those. I'm just at a place in my life where I realize the faster that I face those things, the faster I can get through them, and we can move on. So I'm not going to drag out the suffering because I don't want to face something about myself, so the more I remember about myself, it may feel like a duh, and that's natural because it was always in me, and at one point or another I knew that, and I recognized it, and I named it, and I claimed it, and all of those things. And so it's a reminder to me too that the journey will take you a whole lot of different ways. And so it's important to know that you can forget some parts of yourself, and you can not see some things that was clearly right in your face at some point in the journey. Like, those things can happen, and you can also recognize it real time, and you can choose something different once you do. So that's the space that I'm in, looking forward to making stewarding it differently now, and so seeing what that looks like in this week to come.
Yeah. That's such a great, I'm on that journey too. Like, and it's so funny, like how, how people will step into your life to help you along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I went into this, this space that sometimes I work out of, and this woman that I know, she works from one of the organizations that in the space, and she walked in right after me, and then we started talking, and next thing I know, she's my accountability partner.
Mm-hmm.
And she lives like a block away from me. You know what I mean? Like, perfect. I can walk over there, we sit on her porch, and like write down all of our goals, and chit chat, and like, that's exactly what I needed in the moment. And she brought it up. She's, hey, you want to, and I was like, yes. Like, she said accountability, I was like, let's go. And so it's like interesting, like how, like, now I'm on this, like, in this practice of having somebody in my life that's there to help keep me aligned to what I say that I'm going to do. And I'm going to do the same for her.
Mm-hmm.
And now I get to create this new structure, right? That continues this new level of discipline, continues this new level of commitment to myself and my body. Now that I'm in this, menopause space in my life, now I'm like, okay, I got this whole new body I'm working with, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, what do I do? You know what I mean? Because so let me find other women that are going to do the same thing. And, like, and so, like, yeah, so it's just dope. Like, now I'm like creating this new structure, and I'm in the, the universe brought it to me. It was just like, Here you go. This is what you need. Here you go.
Mhm.
You know, it's perfect.
I love it.
So great.
I love it. Well, I need to go get my dog her food.
Yes.
She's up front doing something bad, I'm sure.
Yes.
So I'm going to go get her food. You have a great Sunday. This is amazing. This definitely, you gave me a good little something to circle back to. So
Yeah.
she has done something for me on this Sunday, which is amazing because, man, I'm ready to go into the week
Yes.
running.
Yes. Let's go, girl. Let's
Run
go.
it, run it, and run it, run it. So yes, let's get it. So have a great day.
Thank
I
you.
will talk to you.
Yes.
All right, bye.